Welcome. Today we're going to be taking a look at Zombicide 2nd Edition. This is a 1 to 6 player, cooperative, dice-rolling, scenario-driven zombie game. Zombies have taken over the world, and you are fighting for survival. So you'll be taking the role of survivors, teaming up to destroy zombies and complete objectives, trying to survive and win the game. How do you survive and win the game? By completing the scenario's objectives before a losing condition is met, like a survivor being eliminated. Now that we know what the winning condition is, let's take a look at the components, setup, and how gameplay works in Zombicide 2nd Edition. Now let's look at the components. You have double-sided map tiles. On these tiles you have different zones. Those are rooms or street spaces between crosswalks. On the tiles you have a line of sight. When you are in a room, you can see to another room, or you could see out into the street through an open door, and you can see out into the street through an open door into another room if the door was open. When you're in the street, you can see all the way down the street going north-south or east-west, and you can see into one room in any of those directions. Survivor ID cards. At the top left you have the name, and then across the right side you have the wound bar, and then on the left side you have the skills bar based on your adrenaline points. Survivor miniatures. These are the orange miniatures. Survivor dashboard. In the center of the survivor dashboard you will place your survivor ID card. On the left and right of that ID card are places for you to place equipment that you will be holding in your hand. At the top you have 3 slots for your backpack, and then at the bottom is a track for adrenaline points. Survivor bases, trackers. These are used to help track things on your survivor dashboard. Zombie miniatures. There are 4 types of zombie miniatures. These small light gray miniatures are your walkers. The small dark gray miniatures are your runners. The larger dark gray miniatures are your fatties. And the light gray large miniatures are your abominations. Zombie cards. These cards across the top have the type that are spawned. On the right side, they have the number that will spawn based on the highest adrenaline point of any of our survivors. Also on these cards, if you see the word rush, that means that you will spawn these types of zombies and then activate them. Abomination cards. Equipment cards. You have starting equipment cards, which are gray, regular equipment cards, which are blue, amazing equipment cards, which are red. These are gained through crates. And then your reference card. These are for your vehicles. On the equipment cards at the very top, you'll have the name. At the top left, you'll have the action ability. At the bottom of the card, on the left, you have the weapon type. And then with the 4 boxes, you have the range, dice number, accuracy, and damage. Next to those boxes, you will have an indicator that lets you know if you will cause noise when using this, or if you will not cause noise. On the right side of the card, you will see the ammo type. Next we have the car tokens, door tokens, which are in red, blue, and green, first player token, exit token, noise tokens, objective tokens, which are in red, blue, and green, crate tokens, zombie spawn tokens, which are in starting spawn location or 1, red, blue, and green spawn locations, dice, and then finally your rulebook. Now let's take a look at the setup. We're going to be setting this up for a 3-player game which takes 10 steps. Step 1, choose a mission. You will choose a mission from the back of the rulebook. Step 2, create the map. Based on the mission that you chose, you will create the map using the map tiles depicted in that mission. Step 3, place tokens and miniatures. You'll place the spawn zones and any other tokens or miniatures mentioned in that mission in the back of the rulebook. Step 4, select survivors. You will select 6 survivors among all the players. Some of the players may have to control multiple survivors. Then you will get the matching standee and ID card. Since we're playing a 3-player game, each of our players will have 2 survivors. Step 5, get player components. You will get a dashboard for each survivor. You'll place the ID card on the dashboard. Then you will choose a color and get the corresponding base and trackers. You'll place the base on your miniature. Step 6. Separate, shuffle, and place your decks. You'll separate the starting equipment cards, red equipment cards, zombies, and abominations. Then place your reference card near the play area, along with the dice and noise tokens. Step 7. Get starting equipment. Deal each survivor a starting equipment card. Step 8. Place survivors. You'll place the survivor miniatures on the starting location on the map. Step 9. Set up the survivor area. You'll place the survivor dashboard in the middle of your player area with the sliding arrow of adrenaline points at 0. Then you'll place a tracker next to the blue skill on your survivor ID card. Also, you'll place a tracker next to the top wound number. Then you'll place the remaining trackers on the reserve spots on the top right and top left of your dashboard. Then place your starting equipment card either in your hand on one of the 2 hand slots or in one of the backpack slots at the top of your dashboard. Keep in mind that if you are using a kid, this is indicated by the backwards hat icon in the top right corner. Kids start with 2 health, but get the slippery skill. Step 10. Select the first player and place remaining pools. The survivor with the fire axe is the first player and will get the first player token, and you'll place the remaining pools next to the play area. Now let's look at the gameplay. A game consists of a number of rounds until the players lose or win. The players lose when a player is eliminated, the mission objectives can't be fulfilled, or when a losing condition is met. The players win when they complete all of the mission objectives. A round. A round consists of 3 phases: the player phase, zombie phase, and end phase. Now let's take a look at each of the phases. Phase 1, the player phase. Starting with the first player going clockwise, you'll activate all of your survivors in any order. This is done by taking 3 actions among move, search, open door, reorganize or trade, combat, take or activate an objective, make noise, or do nothing. Now let's go through each of the actions. Move. You may move 1 zone. This is north, south, east, west, or through an open door. You cannot move diagonally or through walls or doors that are closed. Keep in mind that you must spend an additional action per zombie in your space to move. This cost can be ignored with the slippery skill. When you enter a zombie space, your movement will end. Keep in mind the slippery skill for kids can only be used once per turn, and it will ignore zombies when moving. Search. Once per turn, in a building zone, you may search where there are no zombies. You would draw the top equipment card, and then you can reorganize your dashboard for free. Or you could choose to discard the card. If the equipment deck runs out, you'll reshuffle all the discarded equipment cards. Open door. You would use door opening equipment, which is a symbol in the top left of your equipment card, to open a door or place an open door token. And then you would place a noise token if it is indicated on that equipment. If you open a building for the first time, building spawns would happen. You would draw a zombie card for each dark zone. Reorganize or trade. You would reorganize your cards in any way you like between your hands and your backpack. Also, you can trade with any one player in your zone. Trades have to be agreed upon, and the other player gets a free reorganize action. Combat. For melee, which is the knife symbol in the bottom left of your equipment card, you can attack zombies in your zone. You get to choose which zombie if multiple are in your zone. You would roll the number of dice. For any accurate rolls, based on the accuracy number, you would deal the damage to the zombies in your zone. For a ranged combat, which is the gun symbol in the bottom left corner, you would shoot at zones. They have to be within your line of sight and range. You would roll the number of dice based on the equipment card, determine the number of damage based on the accuracy on that equipment card, and then you would deal damage in target priority order. If there is a tie, the player would get to choose. Target priority order is located on the back of the rulebook. Target priority ties would be broken by going with the player's choice. When doing range attacks, if you are firing in a zone with a survivor, friendly fire can occur. Any of your misses of the accuracy number, and that player would gain a wound or damage. Keep in mind that range can be 0, but when that occurs, you cannot hit yourself. Take or activate objective. In your zone, you can take or activate an objective and read the resolution in the mission. Each objective gives 5 adrenaline points if it is not stated differently. The same thing would happen for crates. You would take the crate and then draw a super weapon and reorganize for free. Make noise. You would place a noise token in your zone that would attract the zombies. And then finally do nothing. You would pass for the rest of your turn. Once all the players have had a chance to activate all the survivors, we move to phase 2, the zombie phase. This is carried out in 2 steps, activate and spawn. Step 1, zombies activate by either moving or attacking and resolving any attacks first. For an attack, the zombies will always deal 1 damage. Multiple survivors in a zone can split multiple zombie attacks in a zone. Any wounds go down the wound track, and if you ever reach 0, the players lose. When zombies move, the zombie would move 1 space toward their destination. Their destination starts with their line of sight with the most noise to the least noise, and if none are in their line of sight, then it would follow the most noise. Keep in mind that a survivor figure counts as 1 noise. Then they would move in the shortest path, north, south, east, and west. If multiple routes are the same, the zombies will split up and the players will choose the uneven path. Keep in mind that runners will activate 2 times. And then step 2, spawn. From the starting spawn tile going clockwise, you will draw a zombie card and resolve based on the highest adrenaline point effect. Once all the spawn tiles have spawned, we move to phase 3, the end phase. This takes 2 steps. Step 1, remove all the noise tokens. Step 2, pass the first player to the left. And then rounds would continue until an in-game condition is met. If a survivor is eliminated, the objective can't be completed, or another losing condition is met, the players will lose the game. But if the mission is completed, then the players survive and win Zombicide 2nd Edition.